I swear, gun grabbing Democrats will not stop. How's it going, everybody? This is Bishop here for Tactical POV. Thanks for tuning in, though. But first, I got to get this out to you and tell you that this video is being brought to you by Laser. And if you guys don't know what Laser is, man, I got to explain it because I have been using this for quite some time. Okay, it's dry fire practice here. And let me bring this up and show you what I'm talking about to give you an idea to what this thing is all about. If you've never heard of Laser, guys, this is it. Laser Activated Shot Reporter here. This thing is amazing. The software is incredible. It is the most elaborate type of software for dry fire practice that is on the market by far. The most. So, hold on one second here while I mute my phone. Sorry about that. I swear I always get interrupted, man. But anyway, as I was saying, that Laser app, this thing is incredible, and it is really the most laid out software that I've ever seen for dry fire practice. And I honestly, I have been using this for about 6-7 years or so. And I started with the Laser Classic app with the software. Then it moved over to Laser X. And what the difference between the two is that with the Laser Classic here, this is the classic software. It is totally laid out, everything what it is. And as you see, it uses webcam. You can incorporate multiple webcams, so you can incorporate multiple targets. So therefore, you can do multiple target acquisitions for dry fire practice. It works with laser ammo, and it also, if you have one of these, a SIRT pistol, a SIRT, S-I-R-T, which means shot indicating resetting trigger pistol here, trainer. This works perfect with this also. And this is the pro version, as you see, with dual lasers here, prep laser, shot laser indicator. It works with this one really, really well because honestly, the software is really incorporated mainly for this SIRT pistol. But it, as I said, it works with a laser ammo as well. That's the classic software with the webcam. Now, the Laser X works now with either your mobile device, your cell phone, or tablet. Works perfect with that. You can also incorporate multiple cameras and everything with that too. Same way. This thing is incredible, man, and it goes from everything to as far as your dry fire practice up with your draw, steel shot, targeting. I mean, everything. I'm trying to spit it out, man. It's so much. And honestly, I believe it is seriously the best software out there for dry fire practice. If you can't make it to the range, you have no excuse. You can get this here software, and if you use my code TPOV10, you will get 10% off. That's TPOV10. Use my code, get 10% off on this thing, and get yourself some dry fire practice, because the main thing in what you need, honestly, really, when you can't go to the range, is make sure you get those trigger reps in. And this thing is absolutely on point. It is remarkable software, guys. Check it out. It's the best on the market by far, hands down. And I've used other targeting systems before. I'm telling you, I've been using this for years. I've tried other ones out throughout the years. I always still use this one right here. It is by far the best, guaranteed. So check that out. And like I said, use my code TPOV10. So outside of this thing here, what I'm really want to do, I am getting myself incorporated here as far as talking about some of the things that's going on here, mainly on this channel around the Second Amendment and things that are happening with it. I try to stay in tune as much as I possibly can with it, as much as I can. Okay, so I'm not only just giving my opinion, I'm also going to give you, it's based on the knowledge that I know of what I've studied so far over the years on this thing. Now, we know here, if you haven't caught it, a week ago, San Jose is the first city to implement a gun insurance policy or ordinance for San Jose. And this thing is, let me put it to you this way, okay? We all know by now, seriously, anytime a anti-gun individual, politician, or anything else, anytime when they come out and they tell you something that they're either implementing or trying to put into play, another gun control law or anything else like that, anytime they try to tell you that, oh, we're not trying to take your guns, we just want to do this, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Okay. They are. Flat out, they are. Okay. But they want to tell you to make you buy into it, or other individuals who are just not totally up to speed on this thing, or just rather ignorant and not understand that gun control laws don't affect any criminal whatsoever. Okay. This thing here that's going on with uh, the mayor of San Jose on a CBS News interview here tries to explain the situation, and he tries to explain it of how they're going to implement this said gun liability ordinance for you to carry gun liability insurance. Now, I'm going to play this video here, man. Let me bring this thing over here. And let me try to, I'm gonna incorporate what I tell you. Basically try to decipher this thing. If you don't know, explain the double talk of what he's trying to say here. So here, let me roll this thing.
The city of San Jose, California passed a first of its kind gun control measure Tuesday night. Under the ordinance, local gun owners are now required to carry liability insurance and pay an annual $25 fee. That money will reportedly go toward community firearm safety education and training, as well as domestic violence and mental health services. However, the law does not address illegally obtained weapons that are stolen or purchased without background checks.
Okay, now let me stop it right there. So as it says right here, gun owners required to carry liability insurance. Okay. Carry liability insurance for what? This is the thing. This is my thing here that it irks me every single time, because politicians always come after law-abiding citizens, because there's no way they can implement this on the actual problem. The real problem is criminals that are carrying guns or carrying illegal guns. They cannot implement this, but they want to push this on you, the law-abiding citizen, like you're the problem. And that's what irks me. And we all know we are not the problem. The problem is with criminals illegally carrying firearms. Okay. That's the problem. They know for a fact they cannot curb that. They can't stop that, as much as they try to tell you, and as much as they say this will be like a trickle down type of policy or something. There's no such thing as a trickle down policy or trickle down gun control law. Okay. It doesn't trickle down. All right. It irks me every single time when I see this too. On top of that, it says we'll also have to pay an annual $25 fee. Now, understand this. Any government entity at all that tells you that this is something is called as a fee, that is a fee on your constitutional right, that's a tax. It's not a fee, that's a tax. Understand this. The government implements something that says a fee on your constitutional right, such as your Second Amendment. That is a tax, which is against the Constitution. The government cannot sit here and charge you a tax upon your right. Okay, your God-given right. So that's another thing here too. It said money will go toward community firearm safety training and mental health services. Community firearm safety. Who's going to be in charge of something called community firearm safety, which they try to come at you as common sense gun control laws, which, okay, it's still a gun grabbing law is basically what it is. Okay. Of course, it doesn't address illegal obtained weapons that are stolen, of course, or purchased without background checks. So what they mean by this is firearms that are purchased without background checks. That means a private person sale, a private sale of a firearm, okay, which you have the constitutional right to do. So this means they're trying to slide in a universal background check type deal. They're still trying to preach this crap. So it just bugs me so bad, man.
Joining me now for more on this is the mayor of San Jose, Sam Liccardo. Mayor Liccardo, welcome. Thanks very much for being with us. So several Democratic-led cities around the U.S. have proposed similar gun control legislation, but San Jose is the first to actually pass such a law. Why is that? What has the city seen that led it to this point?
Let's pause right there. She said several Democratic-led cities, of course. This is all coming from Democrat-run cities to come after soft targets, low-hanging fruit. What is that? Law-abiding citizens. They honestly think this, like I said, they think this is a trickle-down deal. It's not a trickle-down at all. Criminals will still have the guns. You're making it harder on law-abiding citizens for this deal.
Well, thanks, Elaine. Good to be with you. We know that the gun lobby is very powerful in many legislatures throughout the country and individual states and certainly in Congress. And so I suspect that it came down to a city to try to lead the charge simply because cities are able to be more pragmatic. And I suspect that some of those interest groups are a little less powerful at the local level.
Well, what consequences do gun owners who don't follow this new law potentially face?
Well, this is a civil ordinance, so there's no criminal sanction. No one's going to jail. And in fact, no law-abiding gun owner is going to lose their gun. This
is what they try to say. Okay. No law-abiding citizens is going to lose their gun. We're not trying to take your guns. Okay. Sure. You're saying it's an ordinance right now until it actually goes into actual law and then if you enforce it. So, but as I said, how can you constitutionally even enforce that? No criminal's going to pay it at all. Not one. All right. So who's going to pay this thing?
A modest fee that we're asking gun owners to pay.
Tax.
Given the fact that we know taxpayers throughout our city are currently subsidizing gun ownership in the form of all the public costs for services in responding to gun harm and gun violence. In addition, there's an insurance requirement that all gun owners, like all drivers who have to get auto insurance, gun owners would similarly get liability insurance, which many owners already have accessible to them through their homeowner or rental policy.
Freeze right there. Wrong, wrong, wrong. And this is what irritates me. Not only irritates me, it absolutely pisses me off that every single time when you get politicians such as this, gun grabbing individuals, they talk about this and they always try to make that analogy between a driving being a privilege and then trying to make the same analogy and join it as your God-given constitutional right. Okay, that's the difference between the two. You do not have a constitutional right to drive. Okay, you do not have a right to drive. That is a privilege. Therefore, we pay taxes in order to enjoy that privilege, which goes into road infrastructure, stuff like that. We pay for this stuff. We pay plates. We pay for licensing fees and stuff like that. We pay for this stuff in order to enjoy this privilege, which that privilege can be suspended or revoked if you screw up bad enough on that. All right. That's one thing totally separate from the Second Amendment. All right. Totally separate. Your Second Amendment right, that is your God-given right, being either born in this country, a U.S. citizen, or obtaining citizenship. You have that right to keep and bear arms. That is a right. That's not a privilege. That is a right. So every single time him and all these other ones that always try to make that analogy, I think, what was it, Cory Booker, big wide-eyed potato head looking Cory Booker. Obviously, I can't stand him. Tried making that same type of analogy before when he was so-called calling himself running for presidency or spotted for the nomination, should say. Tried to make that same deal. They always do that. They spit this out saying, you have to have insurance and stuff to drive a car. Yeah, right. Okay. What makes you think you need insurance? Your insurance is the Second Amendment. There's your insurance. So where do you get off as far as liability for that? Now, him trying to connect that with your homeowner's insurance, that only covers theft. All right. That doesn't cover liability. That only covers theft of your personal your personal products, your personal goods, and stolen. So you pay that on your homeowner's insurance if it's covered on your homeowner's insurance. Some do, a lot of them do. We have separate insurance policies that cover our firearms and stuff such as that. Okay, we have something as far as a overlap or an umbrella or something like that. This has nothing to do with a privilege to drive and your right.
Well, at least one lawsuit has already been filed against the San Jose City Council. What exactly is being challenged?
Well, the challenges are predictable. We expect under the Second Amendment that various gun groups would be challenging this ordinance. We know that in the world of gun regulation, no good deed goes unlitigated. And we have been working with teams of attorneys, including a pro bono, a firm that's offering their services pro bono, Kachette and Petrie, to really defend this ordinance because they believe passionately in what we're doing. And we're working with a lot of great national organizations like Radio United and Everytown, who are also lending their help.
What do you say, Mr. Mayor, to people who are law-abiding gun owners who may genuinely feel as though this is a slippery slope and could be a first step towards taking away their legally owned firearms?
Well, I think the good news for many of them is first that we're not taking their guns away. And secondly,
yes, you are.
That overwhelmingly these laws will be to the benefit of their families. And by that, I mean this. We know from all the studies that if you live in a home which there is a gun, you are twice as likely to be the victim of homicide.
Wrong. Where he got that study from, man, was done years ago. And that was only a small base study that was done on that. So that's another thing that they'll spit out there. They'll spit these numbers out too, and it drives me nuts because they spit these numbers out and they don't put them into context and they don't back them with any kind of fact. So we know by the studies, it's okay, where'd you get that study from? If they told you got that study from like what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago or something like that, from some really minute study, it's how they cherry pick numbers and stuff like that to somewhat fit what they're talking about. This is one of them right here.
You're 3 times or more likely to use that gun in suicide.
Okay. Now, if you people look, we know it's what, roughly 22,000 or something like that die every single year of suicide. Weapon of choice is a firearm. That is the weapon of choice. It's not all suicides, but the weapon of choice for most of them are firearm. Now, you tell me, what does having gun liability insurance going to do to solve or stop suicide by gun? It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Nothing. So what are you after here? You know, I'll tell you, matter of fact, I'll tell you what it's after. I'll tell you what all of them are trying to implement. This is what they're after.
If there's a domestic violence altercation in a home, we know that the likelihood of death is 5 times as great if there's a gun in the home. So we're directing these services, mental health, suicide prevention, domestic violence prevention, for the family members and intimate partners of gun owners and the gun owners themselves, because we know that's where the risk is, that's where the harm is.
Okay, that's, once again, that's a completely broad, stretched, should say, lie, because it just, this is because, yes, between the calls that police officers take and everything that's called in and the studies that are done on this, that's what you try to say. This is where the problem is. The study doesn't say any problem as far as, what about, black on black crime? What about other homicides and murder and stuff that's done by criminals, gang-related incidents, drug deals, something like this? She doesn't say anything about that. The actual problem. Okay? Doesn't say a word about the actual problem. He spits these numbers out here to some people who are just law-abiding citizens and stuff. And it's like, we're going to focus on that because, as I said, it's low-hanging fruit. Let's always go after the tool. Let's never put in the real work in trying to solve the problem. Okay, let's go after the tool and see if that'll fix it. Because, we should know damn good and well it won't. But let me finish here.
And we know insurance similarly can help us all be safer, and that's critically important. We know.
How's insurance going to make us all safer? Who's paying it? Criminals ain't going to pay it. So if law-abiding citizens paying it, how's that making us all safer when law-abiding citizens aren't really the problem?
That gun safes and trigger locks and gun safety classes can be vitally helpful, particularly in a country where more than 4.5 million children live in a home where a gun is kept both loaded and unlocked.
Okay, where did you get that 4.5 million from, loaded and unlocked? Where did that study come from? I didn't see that in CDC. I didn't see that in FBI reports at all. Okay, I didn't see that anywhere. So where'd you get that number from?
Is the great risk we face. We know that the majority of deaths in our country from guns are by suicide, not by homicide. They're very preventable.
How is that preventable? How is that preventable? Somebody who's going to commit suicide is going to do it. He's going to carry it out one way or another. What the tool that he uses is just a tool of convenience. Firearm's just a tool of convenience. Doesn't matter if you use that or not. What? You're going to take a firearm out of a house, somebody who's suicidal? For one, you don't even know that most of the suicides there's no signs of suicide on the majority of the people that commit suicide. Okay. So how is he sitting here spitting this crap out to everybody? That's what I'm saying. This is the talk and the hype that they always spit out every single time they want to pass a gun control law. It's a bunch of bull crap. It's skewed numbers, and it's basically everything they throw at you with any kind of statistic that they throw at you. They put no context into it at all. It's cherry picked. All of them are cherry picked every single time. Okay. So what are you getting at here? How is a $25 fee to carry gun liability insurance? How is that going to keep everybody safe? How is that going to keep everybody safe? That's my question. How is that going to work? When you have law-abiding citizens, the ones you don't have to worry about, the ones you have to worry about are actual criminals. You think they're going to pay it? So how's that going to work?
More than a third of our injuries from guns in this country are, in fact, unintentional. Again, preventable harms. And
unintentional, preventable harms, people that are incidentally injured due to neglect from firearms. What is a $25 liability fee going to do to fix that? See what I mean? You can spit these numbers out all you want and say this, but I'm charging you this. We know all of this happens, everything. Okay, how are you going to fix that? We'll pay $20 fee, $25 fee for a liability insurance. Oh, damn. You hit it right on the head. You solved it.
We're really invested in trying to see how we can prevent many of those harms.
San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't take it, man. I can't take it. God Almighty, it just irritates me so bad. Every single time, man. Every time. God, I'm gonna do a second video, part 2 of this coming up, because I'm gonna do the one here of the second part of this where pro-gun group here who filed a lawsuit against this too. That's the next video. So I'm gonna cut this off here right here, guys. I hope you appreciate this as much as you can. I'm gonna start doing this here more here in the winter months because you guys know my channel. I do a lot of my stuff outdoors. Right now, I think we got like a foot of snow or something like that here. Snowstorm. It's too damn cold. I'm not doing anything outdoors in my place until the spring, until the weather breaks, snow melts. And from there, I'll try to get some more footage into as I can get into the new range here. I don't know if you guys saw my last video. I'm going to spend a little bit more time in the winter months of obviously putting some bullets down range and testing out some different firearms, trying them out a little bit. Mainly the ones that I haven't shot yet. There's a few of them I haven't put in my hands yet and shot. I've shot Hellcat and all the Smith and Wessons, SP, all Shields and Easies. I've shot all that stuff, but there's a couple of them out there I haven't shot yet. I want to put them in my hands here. I'm gonna go to the gun range and check them out, though, guys. Also, you can follow me on Rumble too. So look for me over there. Go to Rumble. You can find me at It's Bishop on Rumble. Also, don't forget my code TPOV 10 to get a 10% discount on the laser software, dry fire practice software. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. And also, I am going to be doing starting a podcast on my deal here a little bit too. So also, if you missed this here on this, what I'm talking about, you can also find me, like I said, on Rumble. Go over there as well. I'll give you more information when I get more stuff to get developed here for the podcast, and you guys can start downloading. I'll let you know here soon. But if you like this video, appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out here on the next one coming up here for the rebuttal of this video here. I will see you on the next one. All right. Peace.